Let's get it started. Oh man, totally not tired. I totally didn't just walk out right now and had to do a reaction video. And later, I have to do a live stream too on OPL to give away my Bears and Ultra. So stay tuned for that too. I'm gonna record this this video probably will come out like at 5 something. So when this video come out, 20 minutes later or 10 minutes later, that's when I'm going to do the live stream. Yeah, let's do it like that. All right, you guys are done though. We on the reaction now. Reaction time frame. Come on, reaction face. I don't know. I don't have a reaction face. Alright, you guys already know. SCP-682 versus Dr. Bright. You heard it? The immortal lizard versus the one, the only Dr. Bright, the one that's immortal and everything from the necklace and all that. I want to see how this works. I already know what Dr. Bright could do. Maybe he's gonna surprise me more what else he could do. You guys already know, link in the description. These people are fire. SCP Explain. Go check them out. Yeah, I'll be happy to get them one more subscriber. And let's get it started. Oh, we have it muted. There we go. Let's put it here. Let's start it. Let me see if everything's recording. Yeah, everything's recording. You have to make sure. I'll be really mad if it wasn't recording. If my mic wasn't picking up my voice, I'll be really mad.
82. The infamous hard-to-destroy reptile. The most recent attempt was SCP-682, an old iron nail with the ability to pin people's shadows to the ground and tear them to shreds when different configurations of light makes their shadows go haywire.
Well, what? What okay.
Just when it seemed like 272 and a high-powered disco ball might be the thing to win the Foundation's war against the misanthropic lizard, it did what it always did. Pulled out a trump card and ruined everything. Its body evolved a sudden intense bioluminescence that completely eliminated the beast's shadow by overpowering all other light sources in the room. This not only rendered the Foundation's strobe lights utterly useless, but blinded several members of D-Class personnel who were sent in to check on the beast during testing. This resulted, predictably, in another big fat L for the SCP Foundation. 682, 435, Foundation 0. And nobody was more frustrated than Dr. Samet. Samet was a Foundation greenhorn with big ambitions. Like every jerk at the office, he was less concerned with doing his job.
Like every jerk in the office? Okay, so I'm guessing this guy is not like a team player. I was just saying he probably a team player is, but the thing is he acts like not one. He doesn't act like
job right, and far more concerned with climbing the corporate ladder. Samet had done all he could cozy up to site directors and even the overseers far above, all with the goal of someday getting a seat at their high table.
Okay.
But as any SCP fans know, they're not just giving out positions on or just under the O5 Council. To swing something like that, you need to really make an impression. You need to wow them. And what would be a better way to do that than being the person
who kills the immortal lizard, which is one of the biggest problems from the Foundation. I see what you're trying to do, but it's not working!
Who killed SCP-682. Surely, if he had actually buried that beast, they'd hand him the keys to the proverbial castle. So Dr. Samet had done everything he could to get reassigned to the 682 termination effort.
Okay.
And only now was he realizing just how in over his head he truly was. Dr. Samet needed help from a higher power. If he ever hoped of beating SCP-682, the man needed God on his side.
Like the SCP God? 343, am I right? Is it the number for the God?
Thankfully, they just so happened to have God chilling out in his containment cell in Site-17. Perhaps through enlisting the help of Earth's divine arbiter, he could bring an end to the scourge of SCP-682.
I don't think he wants to do
himself to success in the process.
Oh, he's gonna do it?
However, while Dr. Samet may have been arrogant, he wasn't completely delusional. He knew he didn't have the standing to address SCP-343 directly.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was gonna say. Like, ain't no way he's gonna agree with him and go like with him to destroy the immortal lizard.
Ask him for a hand in destroying SCP-682.
Oh, we getting an ad. You guys already know about ads, though. You guys already know about ad. If I'm not gonna pay at least a single penny, you damn know we're gonna skip this ad without volume. Come on, son. Let's skip this boy. Remember, guys, if you ever get one my ad, I said, watch the whole thing and thank you for supporting me. But right now, there should be no ad. I'm doing it for free. So enjoy.
He'd need a go-between. Someone with tenure. Someone who commanded respect among SCP Foundation staff, as well as the very anomalies they governed. Perhaps someone who was a little bit anomalous themselves. And who better fits this description than the living legend Dr. Jack Bright. Dr. Samet had, of course, read the Doctor's personnel files. Everybody at the Foundation knew about Dr. Bright's exploits, from what he's done to the various things he isn't allowed to do, which we'll cover in a future video.
Okay.
He's also dug up the SCP-682 files, the anomalous medallion keeping Dr. Bright alive, whether he likes it or not. While a discussion of the exact nature of the medallion isn't something you'd want to have in front of Dr. Bright himself, after all, it is a touchy subject, you could make the argument that the medallion is the real him.
Let me give out what the medallion is, what I know, okay? Alright. So, the medallion. Dr. Bright, sadly, he died when he was doing like his work, like, you know, researching and everything. He died in the Foundation thingy because I think it was Abel. Abel killed him when Rampage. But the thing is, he had the medallion on his hand. The medallion is supposed to do is, when you die, your soul goes sucked into the medallion and you become immortal. You are the medallion. Anyone that wears the medallion, it becomes you. The thing is, there's going to be multiple you if you keep it on for too long. So let's say I had the medallion, I put it on someone, and that someone had the medallion for like an hour or something like that. I make another myself over there. So I have two more now. I have multiple myself. I don't think we think the same. I don't know. That's what I know. And the thing is, the funny thing is, the medallion, someone first had it. It was like I forgot what group it was. They had like hoodies and everything. They had it. He killed himself to make his soul go into the medallion. The thing is, it does not work like that. So when he killed himself, nothing happened. He just died. Someone has to kill you for your soul to go in there. So that's tough for the person that killed himself, thinking he's gonna be immortal. Let's keep it going. I talk way too much. Alright.
It is where his soul is condemned to spend perhaps the rest of eternity, killing and stealing the body of anyone or anything that touched it.
Big brain, come on, son.
Parasite, destined to take the finite lives of others while his own marches on forever. Remind you of anyone? Dr. Samet got into contact with Dr. Bright and explained his plan. With Bright's help, he'd recruit SCP-343 and bring the very wrath of God down onto the hard-to-destroy reptile. Of course, while Dr. Samet naturally assumed himself to be the smartest person in the room, Dr. Bright had a more realistic assessment of the ambitious young Turk's skills. He saw Samet for what he truly was: a climber, a butt kisser, a greedy, power-hungry bureaucrat wearing a lab coat, and he thought that made him a researcher? It was laughable. What Dr. Bright found less funny, though, was Dr. Samet's insistence on calling him SCP-963.
Damn.
There's a lot to know about Dr. Bright.
Hey, don't call it with this SCP name. Don't call him that. He's gonna be angry.
The one thing you should definitely commit to memory is that you should never, under any circumstances, call Dr. Bright SCP-963. And if you were forever entwined with a necklace that doomed you to watch everyone you know and love age and die while depriving you of that same release, you'd probably resent being associated with it too. Dr. Bright did agree to participate in Dr. Samet's harebrained termination scheme, but with a warning that he did not give lightly. If ever Dr. Samet called him 963 again, he would have one of his own loyal team members, nicknamed the Lucky Bunch for their high survival rate compared to other Foundation research teams, shoot him in the foot. Dr. Bright
in the foot. Okay, I was gonna say, like, kill him? Is that even allowed?
Entered 343's containment cell, where the playful deity had taken the form of the late comedian George Burns, complete with his trademark glasses and half-smoked stogie. They made small talk, with 343 delivering his usual high-handed cryptic parables about his plans for Dr. Bright and everybody else. He even momentarily teased the idea of freeing him from his curse, but Dr. Bright knew better than to buy into these fairy tales. He talked SCP-343 into a cross-test, but didn't tell him it was with 682, or that he was expected to terminate it. That was better left as a surprise. Dr. Samet and Dr. Bright stood in the observation area outside the cross-testing.
Watching them not fight, watching them just sit down and start talking to each other.
Samet was giddy with excitement and confidence in this new experiment. Dr. Bright's reactions were a hell of a lot more measured. He'd been working at the Foundation long enough now to know that terminating SCP-682 was a fool's errand. The only researchers still intent on trying it were doing so out of stubbornness and ego. And when 343 and 682 were released into the chamber, Dr. Bright's healthy pessimism was more than justified. 682 attacked a nearby door, attempting to breach containment, while 343 looked around, confused and seemingly unable to see anything. When he was ordered to kill 682, he was shocked to learn 682 was even in the room. He stormed off moments later in a huff, saying,
"He's not one of mine. Deal with him yourself."
Okay. What? Wait, is it because does that have to do something because of the Lich King or something? Or is it like he, for some reason out of nowhere, the Lister like adapt himself for him not to see him?
Dr. Bright was unsurprised. Dr. Samet was shocked and furious. How could this have failed? They literally had God on their side. This setback would seriously compromise his chances of rising through the ranks, unless he found a quick way to make the best out of a bad situation and save face. Without even thinking, he turned to Dr. Bright and said, "Fine, it didn't work, doesn't matter. Get yourself ready, 963, you're going in." So it was decided. Dr.
There you
Bright
go.
himself
My bad, I was fixing my mic.
would face off with SCP-682.
Wait. Did he say Dr. Bright or he say
was
SP?
decided.
Hold on.
Doesn't matter. Get yourself ready, 963, you're
They didn't say he was gonna make one of his person shoot him?
going in. So it was decided. Dr. Bright himself would face off with SCP-682 in SCP-343's
He's going to die.
place.
Not
Dr.
him,
Bright
not Dr. Bright. The guy who ordered him.
was a betting man. He loved a good game of chance, and he estimated that his odds of succeeding were exceptionally low. But what would be the point in refusing? Even if he couldn't kill SCP-682, perhaps he would get lucky and the reptile would kill him instead. So many enticing possibilities.
Low-key.
Dr. Bright left to prepare for the coming battle. And because nobody would say that Dr. Bright wasn't a man of his word, he had one of his assistants shoot Dr. Samet in the foot.
That's what I said. There's like, that's what I
A
said.
few days later, Dr. Bright, Dr. Samet, now in a wheelchair while he recovered from his unfortunate foot injury, and a collection of other researchers, including Dr. Sophia Light, were convened in a conference room, planning out their assault on SCP-682.
Yo, I'm telling you, we're giving every weapon to him. We're giving like, oh, we got a staff here. This time makes you like, cast anything you want out in there. We got this armor. Protect you from any damage, I'm telling you.
A mechanical staff of sorts
Okay,
was laying
that's all
on
you
the
get?
table in
Okay.
front of him. A kind of powerful taser capable of firing out painful bolts of electricity. It would be the only object Dr. Bright carried into the chamber with him
Okay.
that day. But only as a way of getting 682's attention, not as a weapon. The true weapon was SCP-963.
The necklace? Is he gonna like try to put it on him? That'll be dangerous though. Oh, you guys already know. We got ad. You guys already know. And we got 2 ads. Really? Really? SCP explained. Really? So the scary thing about like putting the necklace on him or, something like that. Like what if the necklace actually, let's say, changes Dr. Bright into the lizard, but it makes the lizard immortal now and not Dr. Bright anymore. Something like that. Like that'll be way more dangerous. Way more dangerous. Alright.
The plan was simple. SCP-682 would eat Dr. Bright, and the power of SCP-963 would destroy it from within. As anyone with an awareness of 963's anomalous properties could tell you, for most living beings, touching the medallion results in immediate brain death.
What? I did not use that. See? I did not use
The
that.
consciousness of Dr. Bright inhabiting your mind.
I know that. Yeah, I know like he can control you, but I thought for brain that mean like, oh, you just die if you don't wear it, if you just touch it. So even if you touch it, you also Dr. Bright will also control you now. Like you're gonna have a memory of him. I thought you have to put the necklace on
this body. If they could get this phenomenon to work for SCP-682, perhaps with Dr. Bright's mind in SCP-682's body, could they now end the life of this wretched beast once and for all? Like with all matters involving SCP-682 and Dr. Bright, it was most likely not going to be so simple. When Dr. Bright entered the test chamber with 682, as Dr. Samet and the others watched from the observation room, the results were sudden and violent. Dr. Bright zapped the monster with his electrostaff.
Okay.
It came charging for him, a terrible fury of teeth and claws. Dr. Bright had died so many times, and yet he couldn't even recall many experiences more unpleasant than this.
Okay.
As 682's interior flesh met SCP-963, Dr. Bright woke up in the middle of a strange new place. There was a man standing over him that looked oddly familiar, except for the strange chainmail hauberk he was wearing. When Dr. Bright found his feet, he recognized the man. It was a D-class. In fact, the first body he'd ever inhabited after his soul fused with SCP-963. But he wasn't alone here. There were so many people, all of them wearing the same chainmail and carrying the same electrostaffs
Okay.
that Dr. Bright had carried
Are
into
they
the
like gonna
chamber with
fight?
him. Little by little, he recognized every single one of the faces. They were all people whose bodies he'd taken, whose lives he'd cut short to further his own. He looked around and saw more bizarre sights. A grand castle, structured like a deranged Escher painting. And up above, drowning out the sky, was a great reptilian behemoth, like SCP-682 on steroids, made entirely from barbecue sauce. The D-Class broke the surreal news. None of this was real. It was a fantasy his mind had concocted to help him cope with his consciousness bonding with SCP-682, a more palatable way of perceiving his new reality. And if he ever wanted to get out and be himself again, he would need to fight and conquer the beast within. Dr. Bright joined forces with his past victims, including one former Level 2 researcher, Damien Smith. Together, using their electrostaffs, Bright and his army of mental constructs blasted the great monster in the sky from the safe confines of the castle. However, things weren't quite as safe as Dr. Bright had first imagined. The massive creature descended upon them, tearing the castle to shreds with its huge claws.
Why am I watching?
The construct of Damon Smith was devoured in the process. Dr. Bright's brief illusion of victory was soon stifled by one immutable fact. You could not defeat SCP-682. He retreated from the monster into the darkness of his own nightmares. From there, he woke up. Dr. Bright was in a hospital bed, the medallion attached to a new body after 682's body had rejected it. He was greeted by Dr. Sophia Light and a member of the O5 Council. Dr. Bright had effectively been gone for days. When he asked what happened on the outside, he was told that 682 had entered a 36-hour coma before growing massive claws and tunneling out of containment, where it caused a massive breach. Though strangely, upon breaking out of the chamber, it only attacked one
that guy that's trying to kill him, right?
Researcher. And in unrelated news, Dr. Samet had been taken off the 682 case. It didn't take long for things to return to normal for Dr. Bright. Well, as normal as life can be when you're a man as strange as him. But while few would notice it, 682 was left altered. It had taken a souvenir from Dr. Bright. Fragments of the consciousness of Damon Smith. It
fragments.
Felt his pain, his fear. It tasted it, dissected it, and now understood it. And when the opportunity presented itself once more, as it always did, he couldn't wait to inflict it on others. Now go check out SCP-682.
That was actually pretty good. I like that. Yo, I was just into it. I was just like looking at it like, yo, I don't think I was commentating like that also. That was good. That was good. But you guys already know, we made it to the end of the video. Time for me to conclude it. Alright. You guys already know, go to 5,000 subscribers. Woo! I know we could do it, because I'm telling you. I forgot what I was going to say. You guys hit the like button too. It's supposed to be even more. Turn the bell notification, become one of the early game, which means could be in the comment section first, which brings me to the comment section. You go to make games to play. It does not have to be a Roblox game. You go to make video to react to, but please link the video in the comment section so it'll be easy for me to find. It can be like, how you doing? And I will always try to reply back to you guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a board frame.